Hello and welcome. Good to have you join us on Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I am Lydia Bassi. President Muhammadu Buhari has written to thank the President of Guinea, Alpha Condé, for the nationwide prayers held last week by Guineans for his recovery and good health. The presidential spokesman Femi Adesina, in a statement, indicates that President Buhari, in a letter dated July 24, 2017, had earlier made a phone call to Condé, who is the current chairman of the Assemblies of Heads of State and Governments of the African Union. President Buhari says he is making good progress, and as soon as doctors advise, he will return to duties and continue serving Nigerians who elected him and are daily praying for his recovery. The statement adds that President Buhari had also accepted his nomination as leader of the 2018 AU theme on the fight against corruption, which came from African leaders at the 29th session of the Assembly of Heads of State and Governments of the AU in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, on July 4, 2017. The federal government will soon kickstart the implementation of a comprehensive rebuilding plan for the northeast areas that were ravaged in recent years by Boko Haram terrorists.
Under what has been tagged the Bama Initiative, the plan opens with Bama local government, including several towns that would lead to the construction of 3,000 new homes, 10 police stations, 18 primary and secondary schools, health centers, and recruitment of 1,500 local hunters as agro-rangers, among others. At the meeting chaired by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo, arrangement reached under the initiative would see the federal government contributing 67% of the funding, while the Borno state government would provide the balance of 33%.
The federal government had magnanimously decided to support us with the Bama Initiative, a very beautiful pilot scheme, which we hope will be replicated in all parts of the devastated Northeast.
The welfare of the returnees is also top priority of the plan, ensuring a comprehensive support program for IDPs as they return. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, says adoption of the concept of the multinational joint task force by the Nigerian Army is responsible for success recorded in counter-insurgency operations. He said this while on an operational visit to the Lake Chad Basin Commission in N'Djamena, Chad, where he received the Multinational Joint Task Force Medal. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa has the details.
The Lake Chad Basin Commission is the administrative arm of the Multinational Joint Task Force, MNJTF, while the task force is a combination of mostly troops from member nations. These countries are united in the fight against their common enemy, the Boko Haram terrorist group. Discussions focus on the need for more support from the UN, AU and other nations to enhance the current humanitarian and peace-building process.
We are in a much better position now than 3 years ago. And given the renewed commitment of the government of Nigeria, headed by President Muhammadu Buhari, I think his personality and diplomacy will weigh on the other member countries to improve their funding.
At the event, the Chief of Army Staff, who was awarded MNJTF medal for being the visionary pioneer force commander, spoke on his legacy.
Carrying everybody along in a multinational concept or setup like this, you really need to understand the challenges and the differences in the doctrines of the various countries.
What we want to do now is to increase the level of stabilization that is due to be brought into the entire region.
Aside the provision of about 70% of the running cost of the MNJTF, Nigeria has the largest number of troops in the force that has about 5 major contributing nations. From N'Djamena, Chad, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
Thanks, Ismail. Still on security. Egypt and Nigeria will continue to work in combating terrorism to ensure peace and stability at regional and global levels. The Egyptian ambassador to Nigeria, Assem Hanafi El Sefi, stated this at the country's 65th National Day celebration in Abuja. Chukunonso Nwabweze has the details.
Since establishing diplomatic ties in 1962, Egypt and Nigeria have continued to enjoy mutually beneficial relationship in the area of education, economic development, health care, capacity building, military and security cooperation. The benefits of this long-standing relationship took the center stage as members of the diplomatic community in Nigeria, top government functionaries, politicians as well as captains of industry converged on the embassy of the Arab Republic of Egypt in Abuja to mark its 65th National Day.
The governments have to create an enabling environment of various agreements and so forth. And then it's up to the business community and the entrepreneurs to take the flag and pursue their activities.
The relationship will go on from strength to strength, and the bilateral, the MOUs that have not been ratified will be ratified in due time so that it can take full effect.
The National Day is an annual event in commemoration of the July 1952 revolution that paved way for the establishment of a nationalist government in Egypt. Chukunonso Nwabweze, NTA News.
The Senate is to monitor joint police-army operations to combat incessant kidnappings along Abuja-Kaduna Highway. The decision followed a point of order raised by Senate leader Ahmed Lawan. He called for the accelerated passage of the Police Trust Fund bill with a view to improving security operations in the country.
During these immediate operations, this assembly and indeed this administration will have to look for financial support for the police to not only police our roads and highways properly, but do the other operations that they are built by the law.
Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu noted that Nigeria's resources should be maximized to ensure that kidnappings are curtailed.
Keep the conversation going on, ensure that we engage them constantly, deploy their oversight responsibilities to ensure that the police will also continue to be on their toes in ensuring that we protect the lives and properties of Nigerians.
The joint Senate and House committees on police affairs have engaged the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, on the incessant cases of kidnapping along the Abuja-Kaduna Highway. National Assembly correspondent Dennis Adegunloye reports that the IGP is the first among other security chiefs expected to appear in the coming days.
The Abuja-Kaduna Highway is a major road which links the greater part of the northwest states in Nigeria. And this Joint Committee meeting highlights the seriousness with which the National Assembly takes what is described as a disturbing turn of events. Senate leader Ahmed Lawan noted that when flights were diverted to Kaduna Airport to allow for renovation of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, no experience of kidnappings were recorded.
And we all know that this is not a road leading to a hinterland or something. This is a dual carriage road. Not many people can fly because of the cost.
Both parties spoke to newsmen after the closed door session.
Sort of put our heads together on how we can improve police services.
We'll continue so that we come out with a clear-cut solution and even other areas of situation.
Security is a priority of any responsible government. And I believe me,
But before the week runs out, you will see a change.
Other security chiefs are expected to appear before the Joint Committee within the week. From the National Assembly, Dennis Adegunloye, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the police has dismissed 3 officers attached to the Lagos Command for illegal arrest and extortion of money from the public. A statement by Commander, Police Public Complaints Response Unit, Assistant Commissioner of Police Abayomi Shogunle says the officers, 1 inspector and 2 sergeants, were dismissed for extorting the sum of 200,000 naira from the public while pretending to be operatives of Special Anti-Robbery Squad in Lagos. It adds that this followed a complaint from one of the victims who used police social media platform to report the officers' misconduct. It noted that the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, while commending the complainant for reporting police officials' misconduct, assured Nigerians that any reported unprofessional conduct of police officers will be treated in accordance with the relevant laws in keeping to the Change Begins With Me campaign of the federal government. The first batch of applicants seeking employment into Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria, have begun their computer-based test exercise in Abuja. Abdulmalik Adio reports that the examination exercise, which is one phase of the screening exercise, is being conducted by the Public Service Institute of Nigeria in collaboration with the management of the Aviation College.
A mixed grill of emotion, anxious and anticipating. Here, the queue is significant to the lives of this applicant seeking employment at the Nigerian College of Aviation, Zaria. These applicants have waited for more than a month before this day, and readiness is written all over their faces. Drawn from various stratas of the society, over 22,000 are here to begin their quest of getting employed. This is in view with the present administration's mandate for all government public institutions to cut costs and to entrench transparency in the recruitment process.
We wanted the whole process to be transparent and to ensure that only the best are able to scale through. That is why we decided to engage the services of Public Service Institute to carry out the exercise.
The PSIN, however, is living up to the billing of the collaboration, as he has put in place a state-of-the-art hall that can contain over 100 applicants. Administrator of the Public Service Institute of Nigeria, Dr. Abdugani Obatoibo, said the center is among other things charged with the training of public servants and encourage public institutions to partner with the institution for a better productivity in their output.
This institution has conducted tests and CBT tests for more than 60,000 participants in the past. And if we must recruit qualified candidates, then the process must be transparent.
As the examination exercise continues, applicants are hopeful that their readiness will pay off to move to the next stage in their quest of getting employed in the services of the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria. In Abuja, Abdulmalik Adio, NTA News.
You can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. You're watching Nationwide. Jennifer is standing by in Lagos to tell us about the latest stance of the Ambode-led administration on development agenda and other issues of general concern. Over to you, Jennifer.
Lydia, good evening and welcome to Lagos. Now, the story on Governor Ambode will be coming in a subsequent bulletin. Now, the need for television and radio broadcasters to understand the basic norms of representation as designed by the regulators of broadcast industry in Nigeria have been emphasized. The views were brought to the fore at a 2-day workshop on skill enhancement for broadcast presenters in Lagos. Ime Dore, who was at the opening ceremony, reports that the workshop was organized by the National Broadcasting Commission.
In line with the core mandate of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, as regulators of the broadcast industry in Nigeria, television and radio presenters are expected to educate, inform, and entertain their audiences on happenings and issues of national interest. Over the years, however, it's been observed that most practitioners have violated some of these norms. In order to set standards and ensure full compliance to laid down regulations, MBC have challenged practitioners to operate only within the confines of the Commission's Code of Ethics.
A lot of the presenters do not know how to walk the path of being the gatekeepers. So they get lost in their own emotions and allow people to say a lot of things are subversive on radio and television.
Stakeholders at the interactive session highlighted various loopholes and high level of unprofessionalism being practiced by some broadcast presenters.
MBC expects to see totally repentant presenters, presenters that do not take sides, presenters that do not insult people that call into programs.
And there's a need for both the broadcasters and the MBC to work together. And working together, they may also put in the owners of the media houses to understand and speak the language of the NBC code.
Some participants react.
You feel terrible when you hear people murder other people's names.
If your program attract sponsorship, the money go higher. That is the way it used to be. But today, it is buy your airtime and go on live.
The two-day program is expected to sharpen the skills of broadcast.
Nigerians have been urged to love one another and live life worthy of emulation to the younger generation. The priest in charge of St. Charles Borromeo Catholic Church, Lagos, Reverend Father Michael Omugele, said this that at the Igbo Cultural Day celebration. Imole Ayo Tokede has the details.
A beehive as members of St. Charles Borromeo Catholic Church, Lagos, from the southeastern part of the country, came out in their colorful attires to celebrate the Igbo Cultural Day, described as a way of promoting their heritage. The priest in charge, Reverend Father Michael Omugele, says the essence of the day is to achieve a common goal.
We encourage people to come out and showcase their culture, to show our unity, to also promote our cultural values. Whatever we do in this direction should be geared towards uniting us and not dividing us, because we all take our source from God.
Chairperson of the Harvest Committee, Mrs. Obi Bekwe, emphasized that the Thanksgiving celebration is to reunite the people with their roots. She insisted that the Igbos are known for their very unique culture of dressing, dancing, and language.
And we have a singular purpose of raising money for our outstation in St. Patrick's Oniru. So that's really the raison d'etre for this occasion.
Other excited members of the church expressed their views about the day.
I feel happy. Colourman Igbo boy. I am getting what I can really get from the church. And I really appreciate that.
It's a great opportunity and a privilege for me to be here to also participate in celebrating our culture today.
This is about showcasing our culture as well as being an instrument of donating to build a church for the Lord.
It was indeed an exciting experience in the church as the...
You're still watching NTA Nationwide News. Back to Lydia in Abuja for more. Lydia, over to you.
Many thanks, Jennifer. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo wants elected political office holders to effectively use the tenure of office to meet the yearnings of the people, urging them to shun unnecessary wranglings that could slow down their assignments. The acting president, while declaring open the 16th Commonwealth Speakers and Presiding Officers Conference, Africa Region in Abuja, reiterates the need for the elite to raise up in solving the challenges confronting humanity, especially Africans.
The leadership positions which we occupy is a short lease that Providence and the electorate have given us to shape the present and determine the future of millions and the generations that will be born to them. It would be foolish indeed to think that it's an occasion for self-aggrandizement or the pursuit of selfish interests. The responsibility that privilege and power place upon us is to do our utmost to change the current bleak narratives and projections for our nations and our continent and the world.
The House of Representatives has passed for second reading a bill for an act to amend the Federal Highways Act, which seeks to increase fines prescribed under the act to ensure effective deterrent. Ignatius Unko has more.
Well, the two members who sponsored this bill are basically saying that the fines prescribed against the violation of federal highway laws is definitely not enough to deter offenders. And as a matter of fact, they are arguing that the fines should be reviewed upwards. But I have with me one of the sponsors of this bill, Representative Obaide Ihama. He's here to tell us more on what that bill actually seeks to achieve.
Well, thank you very much. That bill simply, the amendment on that existing act simply seeks to amend the existing section 22 by inserting subsection 4, 5, and 6, which is basically discipline amongst us as Nigerians. You see, it stands to prohibit blockage of our highways, as well as unlawful use by people using animals, herdsmen, as well as riots. You see, the punishment for each existing act is very minimal.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, the House also announced that it will commence the consideration and votes on the amendment of the 1999 Constitution. Well, that one will come from Wednesday and Thursday. It's now back to the studio.
Thanks, Ignatius. The federal government has raised an alarm over an orchestrated plot to discredit the Presidential Advisory Committee Against Corruption, PACAC, and by extension, the government's anti-corruption efforts using fraudsters and their like. In a statement by the Special Advisor Media to the Minister of Information, Segun Adeyemi, Alhaji Lai Mohammed said the PACAC's letterhead and stamp, as well as the signature of its chairman, are being forged and used to con people within and outside the country. In a particular instance, a letter purportedly signed by the PACAC chairman, Professor Itse Sage, entitled Presidential Investigation on Outstanding Federal Government External Contract Debts, and a form to be filled for that purpose have been sent to unsuspecting persons to extort money from them and to portray the country's highest advisory committee against corruption in bad light. The information minister said the president has not mandated PACAC to investigate and recommend for payment of some outstanding contract debts as contained in the letter in question. Neither has the federal government approved the disbursement of $850 million in the 2017 budget for payment of the so-called external contract debt, urging Nigerians and foreigners alike to disregard such letters. The statement states further that Professor Sage and all the members of his committee are men and women of proven integrity who will never allow the committee to be used for any activity that is not within its mandate. Nasarawa State government is to commence the rebuilding of Masaka Market along Kefi Abuja Road that was recently gutted by a fire disaster. Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura said this when he visited the market to assess the level of destruction. Joshua Ojito has the details.
Of the inferno that started around 1 a.m. midnight is still unknown, and it destroyed over 2,000 shops, with one trader who lost his life as a result of shock from the disaster.
So all my two shops I get here, everything, I've not picked anything, everything, all of them gone. I the plea government, any help, no amount is small.
While at the market to sympathize with the affected traders, Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura announced plan by the state government to reconstruct the market in order to address challenge of congestion in the markets. In the meantime, all the affected traders will be relocated to the newly remodeled Karu International Market, while government donated 10 million naira to the affected traders to enable them start up their businesses.
We are going to ensure sanity in the operations of this market. Meanwhile, government will take a survey of the areas so affected with a view to helping and supporting the traders in putting back their shops almost immediately.
Governor Al-Makura notes that as part of government drive to boost commercial activities, thereby encouraging small and medium-scale enterprises, government has constructed model markets in Lafia, Akwanga, Kefi, and Karu to provide conducive environment for traders. In Karu, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
For peace and sustainable development to thrive, there is need for Nigerians to embrace Islamic social justice system, which emphasizes equity before the law. The Registrar, Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, made their session during the second annual international conference organized by the Department of Islamic Studies, Nasarawa State University, Kefi. Mohammed Sani Awalu has the details.
This gathering has one thing in common: providing solution to Nigerian challenges through intellectual write-ups. Professor Ishaq Oloyede, in his treatise, described Islamic social justice as equality of mankind in the eyes of the law, preservation of human rights, brotherhood, peaceful coexistence, among others. Hence the need for Nigerians to imbibe the spirit for sustainable development.
We are talking about the fundamentals. We are talking about equitable distribution of resources. We are talking about transparency in the management of our resources. We are talking about being fair to all segments of the society.
Is there any need for the average poor man in the north to rise against the poor man in the east, or the poor man in the east to attack the poor man from the west? We are common victims of mismanagement of the favors God has done to this nation.
Participants say the conference afforded them opportunity to share ideas as well as broaden their horizon on the issues at stake.
We have learned that as students of Islamic studies, we need to know other fields like computer.
If there isn't good treatment between fellow human beings, there can never be development. If there are grievances, there can never be development. If there are inequality, there can never be development.
The theme of the conference is Islam, Social Justice and Sustainable Development in Nigeria. From Kefi, Muhammad Sani Awalu, NTA News.
Time to take a breather for commercials. Don't go away.
From what we have seen, we have the capacity which we can rapidly develop or feed in ourselves. If we don't import rice, we stop importing corn and other grains, Nigeria will have plenty of money to invest into developing industries, especially manufacturing, textiles and so on, and develop iron and steel, and complement the infrastructure development. So really, the opportunities are virtually limitless, and we are very, very aware of this, and we are prepared to exploit it to the fullest.
Growing the economy on the wings of synergy between research, inventions and manufacturers in Nigeria is the focus of Tuesday Live this week. Tuesday Live, incisive, informative and educating.
Many Nigerian children cannot afford to go to school because they live in poverty. Instead of enjoying education and its benefits, they get involved in street trading to help themselves and their families survive. The Rochers Foundation is a humanitarian organization which currently caters for over 15,000 less privileged children in various schools all over Nigeria. The foundation has a goal to take thousands of less privileged children off the streets and provide them with free quality education from secondary school to the university as part of her Vision 2030. Admission forms are free and available online and at all Rochers Foundation colleges at Owerri, Jos, Ibadan, Kano, Enugu, Sokoto, Yola, Bauchi, Zaria and Oboko. For further details visit www.rochersfoundation.org. Rochers Foundation, we educate to empower.
7th Avenue Islamic Center, Warimpa, Abuja, invites the public to the 1.2 billion naira appeal fund ceremony. Date 29th July 2017. Venue 7th Avenue Islamic Center, Warimpa. Time 9 a.m. Royal Father of the Day, His Eminence Alhaji Dr. Sahad Abubakar III, the Sultan of Sokoto, Chief Launcher, His Excellency Senator Dr. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Jagaba, Chief Host Alhaji Mohammed Musa Bello, Honorable Minister of FCT. For more inquiries, contact this number. Organizing Committee Announcer.
Baby, please now.
School days are not for marrying. Marrying on campus in a marriage that is not a marriage.
Is she married? Which marriage?
An ill-timed union that breeds domestic violence, use, distractions, and heartbreak.
And if she graduates and leaves me here, I will take another wife.
You're what my father would call a rolling stone shenanigan.
Do not shoulder responsibilities of married life before it is time. Professor John Bull, Episode 2, Season 4, Campus Marriage.
Waiting with this now? Now hear me, they choose your destiny.
Oh yeah, bring two.
Which one?
That one like your gaki leg and that one like Udo's forehead.
Over and out. Brought to you by Glow.
The largest data network, Glow Unlimited.
NTA Television College Jaws, an affiliate of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria, is again organizing 4-week short courses in the following areas: intermediate television presentation techniques and basic camera operations. Date 17th July to 11th August 2017, and intermediate television journalism. Date 14th August to 8th September 2017. Venue for all courses will be at the college premises. NTA Television College, Refi Jaws. Course fee 100,000 naira per participant, accommodation inclusive. The courses have been designed to put participant on the professional broadcast track for both studio and location camera operations, exposing TV presenters on how to develop their own unique on-screen presence and persona, learning how to break down the script to bring words to life, and to improve journalists' writing skills, English and grammar, learning excellent interviewing skills with critical thinking. If you have a knack for TV broadcasting, then don't miss this opportunity. NTA Television College, training you to be the best you want to be.
The masters of the game are coming from different parts of the world.
Are you ready?
Watch 14 of Europe's elite teams battle it out from the 16th to the 31st of July 2017. China, Singapore, and USA will play host to the best footballers on the planet. Don't blink, because you just might miss the exhilarating action. Watch all games live and exclusive on Star Times.
Don't miss it.
Subscribe for 2 months and get 2 weeks free on any bouquet. Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Welcome back to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Thanks for being there. The implementation of fiscal policies to govern the extractive industry, mobilizing artisanal miners into cooperatives, taking inventory of mineral resources, and promoting the rights of host communities are fundamental if Nigeria must generate revenue from the mining sector and avoid the mistake in the oil and gas sector. Key players in the sector, spearheaded by the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative, (NITI), made this observation at a 2-day workshop in Abuja, focusing on how to promote transparency. Mayor Ogidi reports.
It is a paradox of some sort that Nigeria, with over 50 solid minerals in commercial quantities, contribute only less than 1% to the nation's gross domestic product, GDP, with over 80% of the activities unregulated. This questionable situation is attributed mainly to the uncoordinated activities in the sector. This gathering by members of the mining family and concerned non-governmental organizations raised some salient issues on how to ensure transparency in the sector.
There are miners from other countries, illegal aliens,
that are mining freely in Nigeria as they do in other West African countries. We must talk about them.
After identifying these hindrances, what is the way forward?
It's imperative for NITI to improve its focus on the sector, particularly its audit reports and engagement with civil society actors.
Both high and low, the people we call illegal miners, we can harmonize them, give them the right environment, the right policy, the right frame of mind to recognize their businesses and educate them so that even the hazards, the damage to the environment can be minimized.
The weakness of our regulatory agency in terms of tax collection, that is even outside mining, and in terms of royalty collection, that is within mining, I think need to be strengthened.
An appeal was made to the federal government to scrap its tax holiday incentives, which has led to the loss of revenue, and instead strengthen the framework for ensuring the ease of doing business by investors. Mie Ogide, NT.
Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Usani Uguru Usani, says deliberate policy to domesticating oil and gas business in the area of operations in the region will be formulated to enable the host communities benefit from the gains. He said this at the third quarterly meeting of ministers, governors, and chief executives of international oil and gas companies in the region. Joseph Johnson reports.
This is a platform established in line with the responsibility of the ministry to coordinate development programs of the Niger Delta region. And seated in this room are all parties carrying out various projects in the region. The essence, the minister says, is to consolidate all efforts towards entrenching transparency and accountability in all investments.
We want to assure you, with the international and local oil companies available here, definitely you are going to see a change in the method of operation.
The minister called for a national council on the Niger Delta.
This is different because it will provide a platform for transparency. It will let the people know what is being done. And it's also been midwifed by, I think, a lot of serious parties here in the meeting.
The third quarterly meeting further unveiled the template to guide development activities of participating stakeholders in the Niger Delta region. And of course, underlining the watchwords, no duplication of projects. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Many thanks, Joseph. Plans underway to turn waste to power in Enugu State. Chinyere is ready with the story. Over to you.
Thank you, Lydia, and welcome to Enugu. Enugu State government says plans are underway to tackle the problem of waste disposal in the state. Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi made the statement when he received investors from Europe to discuss modalities on the use of waste for power generation. Ijoma Ugweke reports.
To ensure that the residents of the state enjoy a healthy environment, the state government has entered discussions with an energy and power company on ways to convert waste that is generated in the state to electricity. Charles Anuzim, who demonstrated the capacity to carry out the assignment, noted that waste recycling creates a system that enables the private sector to thrive.
We will recycle the waste, we will build generating plants in different areas of the state.
Governor Ugwuanyi stressed the benefits the state stands to gain in terms of healthy environment, improvement in business activities, especially entrepreneurship and employment generation. He expressed optimism that the arrangement will achieve the desired results.
Insofar as it can produce the required results within the confines of universally accepted health standards, and at much reduced cost to both the government and the people of Enugu State.
Member of the State Economic Advisory Committee, Lorita Aniagolo, said the visit is an outcome of the committee's discussion to seek for a company that will midwife the project. In Enugu, Ijomu Weke, NTA News.
An uncompleted three-story building has collapsed in Abia State following a heavy rainfall. Kelechi Okata reports that about 6 persons narrowly escaped death.
Though no life was lost during the time of the incident, eyewitnesses explained that, apart from the heavy rain which also affected the building, the major contributory factor to the collapse was poor foundation. They added that originally the structure was a story building before the owner expanded it to a 3-story building.
Even myself, who is not an engineer, have discovered that the materials with which the contractor or the builder used for the construction of the building is too poor.
Personally, I am not happy, mainly to the owner of this building, because before you ask somebody to erect a house for you, somebody that is answering engineer, you should know the type of engineer.
I went outside to plug my phone with my friend. Before we left, I'd come inside. All the house don't collapse down. Everything, our tools. We leave 6 people inside there. So, by God's grace, we survived all of them.
Effort to contact the Standard Organization of Nigeria, Aba Zone, proved abortive. In Aba, Kelechi Okata, NTA News.
In a related development, flood has sacked residents of Okunano in Enugu metropolis and property worth millions of naira destroyed. The incident followed a recent downpour which lasted several hours. Beauty Ewobamien reports.
It was a pathetic sight which left their household properties soaked in flood. Collapsed fences are also visible with debris littering the whole place. Vehicles which were also damaged by the flood water are yet to be repaired. Though the flooding of water is receding, some of the houses still remain in pool of water. Some of the residents were seen trying to recover what they could from the flood water.
We thank God that we did not lose life here. But properties, you can see about 5 vehicles are completely demolished and smashed.
And so I have lived in this environment for over 8 years, and this has been a regular occurrence.
While the residents are counting their losses, they are also hopeful that the State Emergency Management Agency will come to their rescue.
We're soliciting for help from the state government, local government, and other agencies like NEMA. They should come to our rescue.
The rains in Enugu has persisted, putting fears in some other residents whose houses are in flood-prone areas. In Enugu, Beauty Ewobamien, NTA News.
And that's our package from here. It's back to you, Lydia. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Chinyere. Ahead of 2019 general elections, 15 registered parties have agreed to forge a common front in the election to address socio-economic challenges of the country. The parties are coming together under the aegis of Coalition for a New Nigeria, CNN. Political correspondent Abdullahi Garbabrini Kudu has that.
The 15 political parties in the coalition are Labour Party, ADC, NAC, NCP, DPC and PPA. Others are PDC, DA, BMPP, AA, UDP and PPN. The rest include AD, YDP and MPPP. They say the coalition is formed to chart a new ground for better Nigeria through respect for the rule of law and principles of equity and justice.
Through our mission of making Nigeria the centerpiece of our domestic and foreign policies, our coalition has the vision, capacity and goodwill to roll back the cloud of despair and hopelessness.
The way forward is for us to think as one Nigeria, to put the right people in place. Do not play politics of money.
Political parties express worry over the inflammatory statements coming from different quarters, concluding that this could overheat the system. The coalition urged all to be guided by political parties' code of conduct. There are 45 registered political parties in Nigeria. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garbabrini Kudu, NTA News.
This is Nationwide. Time now to join Kemi in Ibadan for an update on the alleged military shooting of a girl and other reports. Hello, Kemi. Over to you.
Hello, Lydia, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. The Information and Security Committee of the Oyo State House of Assembly has commenced investigation into an allegation of shooting of a school girl from the 2 Division Nigerian Army shooting range in Ibadan. The committee, accompanied by some landlords of the community that made the allegation, were conducted round by officers of a 2 division. Oyeyinka Folaram has details.
The visit followed a peaceful protest by residents of Omila in Akinyele South LCDA that gunshot from shooting range of 2 Division Nigerian Army had injured a 4-year-old puppy and a woman, as well as damaged their property.
The same gunshot that is coming to that area. We have a lot of evidences for that.
So I also have an understanding that there might be some form of saboteur, and that's why we're here. Do some underground investigation and employ the security agencies so that they can be on ground to make sure that they discover the saboteurs.
This allegation prompted the Commander Garrison, Brigadier General Abdulmumin Yusuf, to lead the delegation to the range and explain safety precautions put in place to prevent loss of lives and damage to properties, including farmlands. Brigadier General Yusuf said the shooting range is one of the best in Nigeria and that AK-47 rifle, including other smaller arms being used for the training, cannot reach 2.7 kilometers where the said community is located.
To hit you and it enters your stomach, it cannot pull itself out. You must bring it out with a faucet or with an operation. How did the bullet extract itself from her stomach? We did all extras. There was nothing.
The 2 sides, however, agreed to commence further investigation into the allegation and bring culprits to book in Ibadan. Oyeyinka Folaram, NTA News.
As part of efforts to improve the environment and protect citizens from roadside accidents, the Oyo State government has intensified drive on arrest of roadside traders. Correspondent Ayomi Ajibola witnessed the raid.
Traders who are fond of displaying goods on roadside were caught unaware and apprehended by the Oyo State Ministry of Environment. Areas visited include Oje, Bere, Moleti, Challenge, Mokola, among others, where traders are engaging in neighborhood markets. The traders were ordered to leave the place as such act is against the environmental law in the state. Goods worth thousands of naira were seized and carted away. State Commissioner for Environment Isaac Ishola explained that the exercise is intended to rate the environment of roadside trading, saying the act of trading by roadside constitutes dangers to life and property.
What's needed in modern market will have it, but the hatchery of people will not allow them to go. That is why government will not allow this to continue again. We are going to do evening rate, night rate, and morning rate continuous until people comply with what the government wants.
He wants store traders in other areas in the state to desist or get themselves arrested for prosecution in Ibadan. Ayomiku Ajibola, NTA News.
Sympathizers have continued to converge on the home of late ace broadcaster, poet and actor Adebayo Faleti, who died on Sunday, 23rd of July 2017 at his residence in Ibadan. Shola Wahid reports that his death has been described as a colossal loss to humanity.
Sympathizers came in their large numbers to condole with the family of Pa Adebayo Faleti, who died on Sunday, 23rd of July 2017. They expressed grief at his death and described him as an embodiment of goodness and his death a great loss.
Baba was a custodian of culture. I don't see anyone who can fill that vacancy for now. This is a man that lived for everybody.
Children and family members said the family has indeed lost a great man.
The middle is around. Everything is all right.
We give all glory to God for the life well spent. The true son of Nigeria, the true son of Africa.
Among the early callers was the management of NTA Ibadan Network Center, led by Mrs. Jennifer Famusipe, who described Pa Faleti as a rare gem.
So we deem it fit that we should come and visit as a management to commiserate with the family and to express our condolence at the passing on of a great man like him.
Late Pa Adebayo Faleti is survived by wives, children and grandchildren. He died at the age of 95 in Ibadan. Shola Wahid, NTA News.
And that's our offering from Ibadan. It's back now to Lydia for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks. News across the globe is next with Obiageli Ugoke.
We begin this segment with stories trending in the African region. Researchers in the United States say a trial in which African teenagers used the vagina ring to prevent HIV infection has proved successful. The girls used a flexible plastic ring with antiretroviral drugs, which is changed every month over a period of 6 months. It is part of a drive to develop a device which women can use to prevent themselves from HIV infection. Nearly 1,000 women are infected every day in sub-Saharan Africa. A prominent opposition politician in Tanzania has been charged with using abusive language against President Magufuli after he allegedly called him a dictator and accused him of making government appointments based on favoritism and nepotism. Tunde Lissu of the main opposition party has been in police custody since Thursday after a video of him purportedly making the comments was widely circulated on social media. He is due to make a second court appearance on Thursday to press for bail. And in Paris, fire has destroyed about 1,400 hectares of forest and woodlands in the south of France and the island of Corsica. Authorities say the biggest fire was in the village of Bastidon, where fire intensified by strong winds consumed 600 hectares of forest. Residents have been evacuated in the village, and dozens of horses in the stable were also moved to safer ground. Israel has removed metal detectors from the holy site in East Jerusalem after uproar from Palestinians over their recent introduction. There were deadly clashes after metal detectors were set up, which Palestinians saw as Israelis' attempt to assert control over the site. Israel said they were to prevent weapons from being smuggled in. That does it from this end. Thanks for being there.
And now sports. Home-based Super Eagles begin training ahead of next month's clash against Squirrels of Benin as Nigeria Cycling Federation set to secure certificate for Abuja Velodrome. Kene Emagbodike has details.
25 home-based Super Eagles began training Tuesday morning at the Sani Abacha Stadium, Kano, ahead of next